everybody, my name is Juliana Davila, and today I'll be leading you through a 60-minute restorative practice. So thank you for joining me today. In our restorative practice, we want to remember that it is about restoration and rest. So we're looking for passive stretching and resting in these postures for 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what feels best. I'll show you the props that we're using today. You can definitely substitute props as you see fit, depending on what you like. Today I have with me 2 blankets, any kind that you like, 2 blocks. I have 3 of these large rectangular bolsters, and then 2 of the smaller rectangular bolsters. Optional props can be a sandbag, which I also have for a little bit of added weight. If you like an eye pillow or a little eye mask, something to cover your eyes, you can definitely include that. You might not want to use as many props as I'm using, depending on what feels good to you. And so we'll begin our practice just with a small amount of movement. I find that just kind of getting the wiggles out a little bit before resting is most conducive to my restorative practice, but you can also feel free to just prepare by doing a couple of rounds of deep breathing perhaps, or maybe making your room or space comfortable for you, making sure that the temperature feels right, that the lighting is good for you, and that you can perhaps turn your phone off or silence your phone, be in a place where you won't be interrupted to get the full benefits of your restorative practice. So I like to start out by just coming to hands and knees and taking a few rounds of cat-cow just to kind of get the wiggles out a little bit. So if you like to take that option, you can start to come to a hands and knees position, bringing wrists under shoulders and knees under hips. With the breath in, think about lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest, maybe looking forward. Exhaling as you curl in. Good, again, inhale, dropping the cow. You can add extra movement. Exhaling as you round. And then once more, inhale, dropping the cow. And exhale, rounding. And then I like to just do 3 more, but this time on the elbows and forearms. So it's a smaller variation of cat-cow. So on the inhale again, like we did before, lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Exhale, curl in. Inhale. Exhale. And then once more, inhale. And exhale. And then coming back to neutral, we'll go ahead and begin. If you like to add a little bit of extra movement, maybe you want to go into down dog or wiggle out some more, definitely take those options when you feel ready for your restorative practice. We're going to begin today in a gradual heart opener. I find that it's a nice pose to begin because it's not incredibly intense, and you can always modify it or vary it depending on what feels good. So we'll start out by taking one of the large bolsters and placing it on your mat wherever you want your head to be. And so I'm going to place it at the back of the mat. This is where my head is going to be today. Then we'll take the 2 small bolsters and just place those right in front. From here, we'll take one of the blankets, and depending on how you fold your blanket or how your blanket is, you're going to take it into a small rectangle like so. Mine has been folded a couple of times, so I just had to unfold it. And you're gonna roll your blanket. Now, some people like to do a tight roll. I actually prefer folding over. It just feels a little better to my back personally. So you can try whatever feels best. You can even try both ways and see which you prefer. I don't fold the blanket all the way. I leave a little bit of space because I want this roll to be just a teensy bit smaller than the size of my bolster. So you can see we're making a gradual lift into supporting the head and neck. So this is going to be placed underneath the curve of my lower back. I also want to create, so I'm going to go ahead and sit. I want to create support for my legs so that my knees can stay bent just to take some pressure off of the lower back. So in order to do this, you can create it however you like to. My preference is to take 2 blocks, place them down, then take one of these large bolsters and place it on top so that I have a little bit more lift. Now, if you prefer this position without the blocks, you can do that. You can even stack your bolster like so to get a little bit more height depending on what you like. So I'm gonna go ahead and position my legs, just make sure that feels comfortable. And then I'm just gonna start to relax back onto the props, starting to feel that gradual lift supporting the spine here. Now sometimes it takes a little bit of wiggling to get comfortable. So you can kind of wiggle around a little bit. Make sure that your legs and lower back are comfortable. And then for arm positioning, you can rest the elbows on the bolsters or blanket and let your hands rest on your abdomen. You can open your arms out to a T. Some people like to take their arms above their head or even rest their hands underneath their head, depending on what feels good here. I like to just kind of rest my hands down, and then sometimes I'll transition to opening the arms to get a deeper chest opener here. You also can take a sandbag and place it over your shins, or I like to place mine over kind of the pelvis and abdomen just to help bring attention to breathing here. So we're going to be here for about 15 minutes or so. And so from this position, you want to let your body rest completely so that you're not having to create any kind of tension, you're not having to push or pull or lift in any kind of way. So go ahead and kind of let yourself settle in. Arms rest, eyes can close. Taking a few deep breaths. And let this pose be kind of your way to help you get settled into this restorative place. So if you feel like you need to move a little bit or wiggle in, that's very natural to have to kind of adjust until you can start to find stillness. very deep breath in and exhale completely. And then slowly begin to deepen your breath. Maybe slowly start to add movement. Wiggle fingers, toes. And then if you had a sandbag or something on you, gently pull it off. Bend the knees. Rest your feet on your bolster. Maybe rock the knees. And then from here, gently roll to your right or left side. I like to just roll so that I stay on the props. And then from here, you can use your hands to help you press up. Move slowly. And then from here, we'll go ahead and transition into our next posture. So, our next pose is going to be kind of a variation of cow-faced pose. And so we're going to want 3 of the large rectangular bolsters, and then I'll show you how we're going to set them up. So I'm just going to move small bolsters. This blanket. And I'm first going to create my back support, and then I'll do the leg support. So I'm just going to kind of move this here. And so remember, again, move slowly. Because we are setting up our own props, it's important to move slowly so that we're not pulling ourselves out of that deep restful state. So the same blanket that I used before, I'm just now going to fold into a long, thin rectangle. This is going to just kind of rest along my spine, basically. I'm going to take the other blanket that I have and just let it rest at the top so that it becomes kind of like a little pillow, a little extra support for my head and neck. All right. From here, I'm going to start to set up the legs. So I'm going to move this so you can see what I'm doing. For our cow face pose, we normally have one leg crossed over the other at the knees. Now, this is the restorative variation of that. Because my hips specifically are feeling quite sore today, I'm going to use extra support, but I'll show you the way that you can do it with just one bolster. So we're going to take one block. I'm going to set it up on this high position, and I'm just going to rest the bolster on top, like so. Some people like to just use the one, but like I said, my hips are a little sore today, feeling a little tight. So I'm actually going to use 2 additional bolsters to create support underneath my feet. So typically, you can scoot forward. I'm going to start with my left leg on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is kind of imagine placing my thigh and knee, cross the right leg over, right? And then you would rest back here. Now, I don't really like my feet dangling. So what I'm going to do is place bolsters on either side so that I can create that extra support. And you might find that one side feels really different from the other, and that's okay. So I'm going to settle in. Knees are kind of crossed over one over the other. Got a little support for my spine, head and neck are comfortable. And then I'm just going to rest here. Now you have the option to use sandbags here. Normally I like to put one over each ankle or foot. Because I only have the one, I'm going to choose to just put it over my abdomen so that I don't feel kind of uneven. But remember that the weight is just additional comfort if it feels comforting to you. So again, we're going to be here for about 12 minutes or so, and then we'll move into the other side. So go ahead and let yourself settle, let your arms rest. I like to take my arms into a cactus position here. And then taking a moment to settle back in. Take a very deep breath in and a full exhale. And then again, a deep breath and full exhale. And if you have a sandbag on you, just gently pull it off. To come out, we're just going to unwind the legs. I like to place my feet on the wide bolsters. And then just kind of rock side to side slowly. Bringing a little bit of movement. And then we'll start to take the other side. So when you feel ready, go ahead and start to rest the right shin on bottom, left on top. You might have to reposition a little bit. And then from here, again, finding a restful place. Making sure that everything feels comfortable. It's perfectly okay if you feel like you need to readjust a little bit. And then from here, we'll settle in. Again, you can choose to put the sandbag on you, or if you have a weighted blanket, something like that you might like, go for it. This hip is feeling a little more sore than the other, so I'm not going to use the sandbag on this side. And again, settling into our pose for about 10 to 12 minutes, taking up space. Arms can rest however they like. Take another full deep breath and a full exhale. And again, deep breath and full exhale. And then from here, very slowly begin to release the legs. Ooh. And once you've released, again, it might feel good to kind of rock them side to side or even hug them in. We rock a little bit here. Any kind of movement that feels good, but like we said, just kind of gradual, small, nothing too fast. Maybe let the feet press together in a Supta Baddha Konasana, help release the hips a little bit here. And then from here, you can gently just kind of roll to right or left side. Push this out of the way. And again, just move slowly. Let yourself pause on your side. And then use your hands to help you press up. All right, we'll take one more pose here. And this will technically be our restorative Shavasana also. So we are basically going to use all of our props at once. Again, you don't have to prop this much. It's totally up to your preference, whatever you find to be restful in the moment. I'm gonna start by setting up the back. And so I'm gonna place one bolster down this wide way. And I'm just gonna place another bolster on top. This is gonna be the back support. I'm gonna go ahead and take one of my blankets, place it over the top. That's gonna be my little pillow. And then from here, I'm gonna create a little bit of lumbar support by just taking the same blanket that we had before, and we're gonna unfold it so it's long. And I'm just gonna roll it up. So, doesn't have to be perfect. We just don't want it to be lumpy so that you don't feel any of those parts. I'm gonna place it at the bottom. This is totally up to you if you want it, by the way. I just find it helps bridge the gap between the bolster and the mat here. Then we just want to rest in a somewhat neutral position. So I'm going to create little armrests, and I do that by taking a small bolster and lifting the far end of it. So where my fingertips are going to be, I lift with a block. This is just to create a little bend through the elbows. So I'll do that on each side. And then I'm just going to bring this bolster underneath my knees. I like to lift it up so it's at a higher level. Helps me to feel a little bit more cocooned in. And so then just kind of rest back. Let the head and neck rest. Make sure that your neck is comfortable. Maybe fold or unfold the blanket more if you need to. Wiggle in. And then I'm going to place a sandbag on the pelvis. Arms can rest on the armrests if you like that. I like to tuck them in a little closer. And then we will rest here for about another 12 minutes or so. Good. So letting your body rest, shoulders relax, face relaxes. Full deep breaths, remembering that this practice is about refilling our empty cups. So letting ourselves rest in stillness and silence, imagining that you're settling in that space between the inhale and the exhale into that little pause of stillness. Take another very deep breath in. Full exhale. And again, deep breath. And full exhale. And then from here, maybe add a little bit of movement, rotate wrists and ankles. Maybe reach the arms up overhead, stretch out. Extend the legs if it feels good. And then from here, relax the arms. And you can go ahead and bend your knees and use your feet to push your bolster forward to create some space. And then from here, you can roll to your side or just simply press up. I like to press up from here using my hands, and I normally take one hand to the back of my head so that I don't strain my neck to come up. And then coming to any comfortable seat that you like, facing any direction that you like, taking a moment to close our restorative practice. So keeping the eyes closed, or you can open them if you like, hands together at the heart in prayer, deep breath in, full exhale, and once more, deep breath in, full exhale, and taking a moment to close our practice with the intention to take time out of each day to refill our empty cups by making time to practice stillness, silence, rest. And so we close our practice with this intention. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate all of you, and I hope that you enjoyed your restorative practice. If you have any questions, feel free to comment or reach out. Thank you.